I'm glad I checked the camera. I had to put batteries and stuff in it, and I thought I turned it on and I didn't. But I put this peep on. It's a three pieces. You got a little plastic piece that straps around the cable guides here. Another piece goes on the string. You wet the ends, slide the surgical tube on. I'm going to put my true peep on, my true knock on now. I had to go get my tiny screwdrivers. Man, them things tiny. Man, them things are tiny. Yep. What'd you do? You just go ahead, put it on there so it's on there. And then I got a bigger one of these on my other bow. I prefer to have the one that's on the other bow, but I couldn't go and I couldn't find it. I guess they stopped making it. Everything, that's my problem. I get back into something. I've been out of it for so long and everything I got's outdated. But I'll get me a new bow. Just not right yet. Gonna go ahead and have some good hunting videos for you guys too. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to level it all up. We're going to get it to where we set it in place now. Show this in there. Okay, now see, you want that level. I just slap that on there real quick. Go ahead and slide that thing down. Put it on there and slide it down, slide it down, slide it down. That right there is going to be level. That's going to be close enough till I put my bow square on it. I'm going to go ahead and tighten that up a little bit. That's one good thing about these little screwdrivers. You can't moose on them, can't strip. Well, I'm not going to say can't strip anything, but it makes it a little bit harder to strip. Kind of like that. Okay, get that away from me before I do strip it. Okay. Making sure the bow's square. When I say making sure the bow's square, you're making sure this limb is equal to this limb. If one of them's less or more, your bolt right here is tightened down too much on your limbs, and you want these at least tighten it down all the way. And then back it up, one complete turn back, and you'll be right where you need to be at. Unless that changed too, but I don't think something like that would change. And slap that on there. I can't have C. Seven 3/4. And that plastic piece for that damn. How big? 7 3/4. I didn't think that was going to come out. But if you don't use this type of rest, and you have a square, they got little slots on there to where you go ahead, the center right down here, little markings where you put your nocks at. Go ahead and snap that onto the string. Let's see, this one don't work too good on here because it's not round, but it's right where it needs to be at, so I'm good. I ain't got to move it. So that's done. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I got everything need to be in the line, and everything's in line. I got the string going through the center of the hole in the whisker biscuit. The center of this hole is running straight up the center, and it's running right across the edge of these pins. So I ain't got to mess with anything until I go out to get my elevation. But my windage should be right. I'm just going to have to raise it up and down. Okay, what else is there? Anything else to put on this thing? I think that's about it. I got everything I needed to put this thing together and get it done and ready, except for a damn kisser button. Kisser button goes on the string. You draw it back and you put it, kisser button in the corner of your mouth. If you shoot with a release, I highly recommend you use a kisser button. You go, okay, I'll pull back to my cheek every time. Well, your cheek's a big spot. That's not good enough to be accurate with a bow. I mean, you could be accurate to hit the window and the door, but the accuracy I'm talking about is hitting the tip of that arrow 20 to 30 yards. Now, it don't happen every time, but I put grooves down the side of my arrows because they're so tight. And got a stabilizer for it. Something else I recommend, I couldn't find in the store anymore. I got it on my other bow, but I sure would like to find one for here. Some little wrist straps. It goes in here, and then you tighten this down on top of it, and you put your hand up through it. I love that on my other bow, and I would really like to get one on this. Now, you want to make sure everything's tight. I use old school check-it sights. These bows don't shoot flat enough, these older bows, to use the new sights, the new round sights where the pins are real tight together at. The bow, one of my bows might be kind of close to being able to do it, but this one ain't. This one don't shoot flat enough to get that type of tightness between the pins. In other words, I could use my 20-yard pin for my 10 and my 30. And I'm going to need another pin, and they're going to be spaced further apart because I'm going to have to elevate up higher. These older bows ain't as accurate as, well, they're as accurate, they just don't have much power as the new ones do. Well, if I keep on trying, I'll get it out eventually. I'll get it right sooner or later. But you want to make sure all this stuff's tight. Last thing you want to do is be out in the woods and have something rattling. And listen, something's loose. One of these pins are loose. The bottom pin's loose. They're all real tight together though, so I'm not really worried about them being loose. I got to sight the thing in yet. But what I do, I take my knot pliers, put them on there, and just give it a little extra to tighten up. That takes the rattle right out of it. And for hunting, you don't need a quiver that holds a dozen arrows. You're not going to be able to get that many shots off at a deer. 4 arrows is sufficient. You go in the woods with a whole quiver full of arrows, a whole dozen arrows or 8 arrows or whatever, that's more weight you got to carry. When you draw back, that's more weight you got to hold up with that arm for that period of time. 4 is fine. I mean, it's not a zombie apocalypse, so we should be good. And that's it. This is my Pearson ZB2. I got to put a kisser button on it.